There's something deeply disturbing about Coraline.
And no, I'm not just talking about the button eyes. Because if you really think about this movie for more than a few minutes, it becomes terrifying in a way most animated films never do. As kids, Coraline felt creepy. But as adults, the story starts feeling almost psychologically evil. And one dark theory completely changes how you see the entire movie. Because what if the other mother was never trying to keep Coraline forever? What if Coraline was actually being prepared for something much worse? Now, to understand this theory, we need to talk about the world Coraline enters. At first, the other world seems perfect. The food tastes better. The colors are brighter. Her other parents actually pay attention to her. Even the environment feels warmer and more alive. And honestly, that's exactly what makes it disturbing. Because the other world isn't built to scare children. It's built to seduce them. Think about it. The other mother studies Coraline carefully. She knows exactly what Coraline wants emotionally. Attention, excitement, validation, love. The real world feels cold and distant. Her parents are busy. The apartment feels isolated. Everything around Coraline feels emotionally empty. And then suddenly, a magical world appears that gives her everything she's missing. That's not an accident. That's manipulation, and according to one theory, the other mother doesn't simply hunt children. She emotionally engineers them, almost like a predator studying prey. Now, here's where things become darker. Throughout the movie, the other mother constantly changes forms. At first, she appears beautiful and comforting, but the longer Coraline stays, the more unstable the other world becomes. The colors fade. The atmosphere decays. The other mother transforms into something skeletal and monstrous, almost spider-like. And that detail matters a lot, because spiders don't immediately kill prey. They trap it first. They weaken it, study it, wrap it slowly. And maybe that's exactly what the other mother was doing psychologically. Think about how the button eyes work. As kids, the buttons just seem creepy, but symbolically, they may represent something horrifying, individuality being removed. Buttons don't see. They don't express emotion. They don't change. They're artificial replacements for identity, and the other mother repeatedly pressures Coraline into sewing them onto herself, not forcing, not attacking, persuading, which honestly makes the situation even more disturbing, because Coraline is slowly being manipulated into surrendering herself willingly, and that leads to one of the darkest theories surrounding the movie. What if the souls of the trapped children never actually escaped? Now technically, yes, Coraline frees the ghost children. But what if those weren't truly the children anymore? What if they were only fragments, memories, echoes? Because think about what the ghost children say carefully. They describe slowly forgetting themselves, their identities fading over time. That sounds less like imprisonment and more like consumption, almost like the other mother feeds on children emotionally until there's barely anything left. And honestly, that makes the ending much darker, because what if Coraline only escaped early enough to survive? What if the other mother's true goal was to slowly erase Coraline psychologically over time until she became permanently trapped? Now here's the part almost nobody talks about. The tunnel. The small door connecting both worlds. Why does it exist? Who created it? And why does it specifically target lonely children? According to another theory, the other world may not actually belong to the other mother at all. She may simply be another prisoner, or worse, a servant. Think about how massive the other world feels compared to what we actually see. The movie hints at endless darkness surrounding the fabricated reality, almost like the colorful world Coraline explores is just a tiny fake stage floating inside something much larger, something ancient, something hungry, and the other mother may simply be maintaining the illusion. A creature designed to lure children deeper into whatever exists behind the illusion, because if the other mother were truly all-powerful, why would she need manipulation? Why not simply trap children immediately? Because maybe the rules of that world require permission. Maybe children have to willingly choose the fantasy. And honestly, that idea makes Coraline terrifyingly realistic, because the movie quietly becomes about escapism. Think about Coraline's emotional state at the beginning. She feels ignored, disconnected, unhappy, and instead of confronting reality, she's offered a fantasy designed specifically for her desires. A perfect world, perfect parents, perfect attention, and slowly, that fantasy starts consuming her. That's why the movie feels so psychologically effective, because deep down, the other world represents temptation, the desire to escape uncomfortable reality, and the other mother weaponizes that desire. But here's where the theory gets even darker. What if Coraline didn't fully escape? Now hear me out. At the end of the movie, everything seems normal again. The garden is beautiful. The neighbors are happy. Her parents are suddenly more attentive. But honestly, it almost feels too perfect. And some fans believe Coraline may still be trapped inside another layer of the illusion, because the other mother is shown to be extremely intelligent and manipulative. Would a creature capable of creating entire realities really lose that easily? Or did Coraline simply move into another version of the game? Think about the final scene carefully. The atmosphere feels strangely dreamlike compared to the cold realism from the beginning of the movie. Almost artificial, almost staged. And if that theory is true, then Coraline never actually escaped the other world at all, which would completely transform the ending from hopeful to horrifying. Because it would mean the other mother succeeded, not by force, but by making Coraline comfortable enough to stop questioning reality. And honestly, that might be the scariest possibility in the entire movie. Not being trapped physically, but emotionally. Now, whether these theories were intentional or not, they explain why Coraline feels so different from most animated movies. This isn't just a children's fantasy film. It's psychological horror disguised as stop-motion animation. The movie understands something deeply uncomfortable. People become vulnerable when they feel emotionally unseen, and the other mother exploits that vulnerability perfectly. That's why Coraline still feels disturbing years later, because the horror isn't just monsters, it's manipulation, isolation, loneliness, temptation, and the terrifying idea that sometimes the most dangerous things don't appear scary at first. They appear perfect. Which honestly makes the other mother one of the most terrifying villains in animation history, because unlike most monsters, she doesn't attack with violence first. She attacks with comfort. And maybe that's the true meaning behind Coraline. Not simply be grateful for your parents, but something much darker. A warning about escaping reality so deeply that you stop recognizing what's real anymore. But what do you think? Did Coraline truly escape? Or was the ending secretly another illusion created by the other mother? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more dark theories, disturbing childhood movie breakdowns, and hidden horror buried inside nostalgic animation, subscribe, because trust me, there are way darker theories out there.